Kyrie, and welcome. Today we are in John chapter 2, taking a look at verse 15, second half of this page right here of our second paragraph in John chapter 2. This is a rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through this text. Let's go ahead and get started. Kai poiesas fragelion ek skroinion pantas ex ebalen ek tu hieru ta te probata kai tus boas kai ton kolubiston ex ekeen to kerma kai tas trapezas on trepsen. And that's as far as we're going to make it. Taking a look at our very first word, we have our coordinating conjunction. There's no good place ever to put that. And then we have our verb right here, poiesas. This eta sigma here tells us that it's not going to be the present stem. And the alpha sigma give us our person if it were in fact a normal verb. However, what we've got here, I believe, is a participle. Alpha sigma is going to be our nominative singular. And this tells us, the eta sigma that is, that it's aorist, hence there's no augmenting vowel right there, because that augmenting vowel only comes with indicative and I think imperative, nothing else. So, of course, you wouldn't see it there. Masculine, aorist, active tense, and participle, doing or making, having done, having made, technically, done, and then we would figure out which are the two of those once we take a look at the greater context. So we want a direct object with this, and wouldn't you know, fragelion, we have omicron nu right there, perfect object for our verb, singular, and this is neuter, and it means whip with an H. So, having done a whip. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. Having made a whip. Ah, that's much better. So made is going to be our better verb. Nope, why didn't I circle that? There we go. And now we can move on with the rest of this sentence, now that this all makes sense here. Ex koinion. Ek is our preposition, so that's going to be taking direct object. Now, ek doesn't take the accusative case, so can't have pantas right there. Instead, skoinion has to. Skoinion? Yes, skoinion has to be our object. So plus genitive, and it is plural, and I think it's also neuter. There's no way to tell since we don't have an article. But this means from or out of, if we take it as a genitive of source, rope or cords. And there's that for us. Taking a look ahead, pantas doesn't really fit with the context of this one, but we do have ex balen right there, which is a verb. Epsilon nu right there, augmenting vowel epsilon right there from balo. So, aorist tense, another third person, where was I, example? Yeah, another third person like this one right here, so I'm not going to bother parsing that. He cast X out, direct object, pantas. It's going to be accusative, plural, masculine. From my trusty card right here, can you actually make that out? Yes, there you go. So it is that one. All, and then that would be money changers and those selling, offering, etc. For English clarity's sake, we were going to say of them. Ek tu hieru ta. Ta doesn't work as an object of ek right there, so this one went in right there. Notice that ek and ex, from what I recall, taking a look at a lot of passages like that, when we have a verb like this with ex, and also frequently pros, we're also going to have a prepositional phrase showing the location that the action is referring to. So, genitive again. This time it's singular and neuter. Of the temple. probata. Ta appears to be referring to probata, which we parsed beforehand, so I don't need to do that again. Put a bracket right there, right there. Te here is an interesting word. I don't remember now if we've actually run into it beforehand, but it's another coordinating conjunction like kai, and it's very common in Homer and other writers earlier. I don't know how it fits into Koine Greek. I think it's pretty uncommon in the New Testament. Could be wrong. It has a slightly different sense behind it than kai does. In fact, as I understand it, there's an entire book dedicated just to this word, and it's called Epic Te. But that's about the Homeric use, so it wouldn't be much use for the Bible. In this case, it just means and the sheep, kai, and tous boas. So tous right here is telling us that boas here is going to be masculine. Go ahead and write that up. We've already parsed it beforehand. I'm going to circle masculine right there because we now have the context later. The cattle, comma here, at least from the editors, tells us we should be entering a new clause, and ex ekeen seems to indicate that that's true since we got a new verb. And tone is the wrong case to be just another direct object for him to cast out. So tone, kolubiston, omega nu tells us genitive plural. This is also going to be masculine. And in a moment, this kerma here is going to come into play when we look further into this word, but that comes in a bit. And, that's a genitive. We've got a verb right there, and a conjunction right there, nothing for them to own. So we're going to have to look further ahead to find that, but let's handle the verb first. Epsilon nu is clearly our ending, so that's going to be a third person singular. This epsilon here appears to be an augmenting vowel, and from my knowledge of what the first principal part of this is, that is correct. That's going to be aorist tense. It's active, and it is indicative, and depending on who you ask, it means either to scatter or pour out, or to, what is it? Now I can't remember. But the two options for this verb form to come from are either echo, or ekeo. Two very different things. So the opinion I'm of, and the interweb agrees with me, and also the dictionary, so really I agree with the dictionary, is that this comes from this verb, which is just a pain to say. And this means, as I said, scatter or pour out. This one makes the most sense rather than that having out of, whatever the meaning of echo is. But anyway, we need a direct object for this. That doesn't work. So we look ahead and, kerma, what I mentioned before. To, accusative, singular, neuter, the, coin, or change. And now we have an explanation for kolubiston being genitive of the money changers. And now immediately you should be thinking money changers, but that's a completely different word from kermatistos, tistas, to which I say yes. We'll get to that. Moving on. Kai tas trapezas anatrepson. Epsilon nu right there tells us that this is a verb. This epsilon right there appears to be a augmenting vowel, so we know, again, this is a aorist, especially because that C, so already parsed a couple of those, don't need to do it again. This just means overturned or destroyed. Comma, because the sentence is not quite done yet, into verse 16. So what is overturned or destroyed? Why, kai and tas trapezas. Tas is going to be accusative plural feminine. And this word means tables. Hence the scattered coins. So there we go. We've parsed everything, translated everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's on its own context. And then we're going to consider what's going on with these two and Kerma right there. Where did it start? And having made a whip out of cords or rope, he cast out all of them from, for my own clarity's sake later, the temple, and the sheep, and the cattle. And he poured out or scattered the change of the money changers, and overturned or destroyed the tables. And there we have it. That's its own context from 13. And the Passover of the Jews was near. And the Jesus went up into Jerusalem, and he found in the temple those selling cattle and sheep and doves, and the money changers sitting. And having made a whip from cords, he cast all of them out of the temple, and the sheep and the cattle and the money change, and he poured out, scattered the change of the money changers, and overturned the tables. So there we go. That's the entire context. Stumbling over my words. Sorry. Now to actually look at what I've been hinting at this whole time. It's nothing really that amazing. It's just why kermatistas and kolubiston, two different words that have the same meaning. Well, when I looked them up, kermatistas, of course, came from kerma, which means coin or change, which we find right there. And then kolubiston comes from kol. That's an English U. There we go. Kolubos, which means small coin. My supposition as to why we have these two different words here is that John wanted some variation in his vocabulary, rather than just saying kermatistas ex en to kerma. That'd be kerma, pretty boring. So instead you alternate it with a variant with the same meaning. So kolubos, small coin, kerma, coin or change, kerma, kolubos, kerma. It sounds a little bit better than just kerma. I hope you get the idea. Don't keep using the exact same word. It's really boring. Well, I think that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope you continue along as we finish and continue to work on this paragraph. Have a very good day. Hαίrẹ.
Not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other equally sleep-inducing videos for you to watch. Check them out.